Hello guys, Belle here. Going to be walking you through the Destruction Artifact Weapon Acquisition questline. It is a rather long questline. Keep in mind that I have done this about 5 different times for various reasons, research purposes of course. So this is the 5th or 6th time that I've actually been through this specific questline. Obviously I prefer Destruction, so this was quite fun for me to be able to go through. Also, as some of you might know, I do have an affinity for gnomes, and I actually chose the gnome just because she's tiny, so she doesn't take up a lot of space on the screen. So, going through this, I've already started part of this questline with the Order Hall acquisition, which I will be linking the Order Hall acquisition for the Warlock after this, and then it also goes in tandem with the Warlock Order Hall walkthrough that I did earlier in the month. So, you guys just saw me soulstone there. The reason for my soulstone is I learned this the 5 other times I completed this process is I actually have to go through Dalaran Crater, and when you take the portal to Dalaran Crater, you will see that you'll actually fall down similar to when you get like a portal to Theramore. Unfortunately, in this instance, because I do not have a slow fall, the drop does kill me, so I did preemptively soulstone myself for this purpose. Don't know if this will be different when Legion is no longer alpha. Maybe they'll fix it to where you don't do this long drop, but it happened anyway. I soulstoned, so all I had to do was take the soulstone and fly away. So it's a little bit of a long flight because I did manually take the flight path because in Legion I did not have any of the flight paths discovered, so I just hopped on the hippogriff and took a ride. I do have to say, after doing all the Order Hall videos that I've done and doing the Order Hall acquisition quests on all of the classes, I really did enjoy how these specific quest lines took you back. So they took you back to old places that you didn't normally, that you don't really normally go to, such as the, the Hillsbrad foothills. You got to see those old zones, and they kind of repurposed some of the older parts of Azeroth, which I thought was pretty neat to actually have a reason to go back there. I'm sure that was their intention, to make sure that they're integrating the old style, the older maps in World of Warcraft that we often forget with each expansion, but still fun nonetheless. So earlier, my very first time on Destro in Alpha was Demonology, because Destruction just barely became available. So I did do the acquisition Order Hall, or the Order Hall acquisition questline I originally did on Demonology, which was fun. I don't really play Demonology that often, so kind of remembering the older playstyle, I'm not really sure the new playstyle to be able to make that distinction between the old and new, because I don't Demonology very often. I didn't feel like it was terrible, but obviously anytime you're playing a spec that you don't normally play, it's been rather interesting. So here, the place that this is taking us to is when we zone down in here, which is so beautiful. I really forgot how pretty it was in some of these zones, especially the Plagueland zones, which was a couple of my favorite questing spots. So when you go down in here, basically when you drop down, you're going to be searching for 3 specific clues. You're going to notice that I did go to these clues rather quickly because I had already done this several other times before I actually deleted the character to redo this specific set of quest lines. Trying to drop myself in the easiest possible. Gameplay's changed a lot for Destruction as far as the different utilities that we did used to have, so I'm still kind of acclimating to some of the gameplay changes as far as being Destruction. For those of you that main Destruction and are wondering how the gameplay feels, we still have our similar baselines. We have our Immolate, our Conflagrate, our Incinerate. Some of the baselines of what we do are there. We did get the soul shards back, as you guys have probably noticed. We got our life tap. We also got our drain life back and our health funnels. So they did give us a lot of stuff back that they actually took from Destruction. I don't remember which expansion it was, but they took our life tap, took our drain life and all that, and basically made it where Affliction could use it. So we did get that stuff back. Now, the thing to note here regarding the Chaos Bolts, if you guys are seeing this, I don't know if that animation with the Chaos Bolt is going to stick, where the head of the Chaos Bolt just kind of hangs in the background. It's kind of weird. I did post on the Legion forums to see if that was its intended animation Hopefully, I'm hoping it's broken, because although I do like the bolt going out, that kind of weird hanging thing is a little bit strange. It's also very difficult to be on a warlock that does not have the green fire. Since I've been living, breathing green fire for 2 years now, it's really difficult to not see that green fire. I'm sure you guys have noticed the changes with your blueberry. Blueberry did get a nice little revamp as far as muscles go. The jury's still out on how I feel about it, because it's a void. Should it really have muscles? But I gotta tell you, being a fan of the blueberry, you know, blueberry is my protector when I'm doing PvE, so I definitely appreciate what they did here. Now, they did change the way that the Glamour of Supremacy actually works. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Please don't judge me. It used to be it would give them that additional armor, and they would get some additional defense and additional damage. They've actually kind of changed the way that that's done, so you're not going to see your beefy Void Lord like you're pretty much used to. Still good for soloing things, so still pretty powerful. Happy about it. You get your health funnel, so you get more control over being able to keep him alive versus having to waste an Ember Tap to heal him, because it also heals yourself, and you might not necessarily want to waste that Ember Tap. So while we're going through this questline, I'm also kind of giving you guys a little bit of play on how it felt to play Destruction. I do plan on doing an in-depth video on Destruction itself and its play style, what's changed, utilities, and stuff like that, especially regarding PvP. I've been testing some PvP, hoping it goes into beta so we can have more people so I can do Battlegrounds. Just because I do, and the arenas are a lot fast-paced, especially when I'm trying to gather information on the playstyle. Since I don't arena, I usually RBG. So there may or may not be spoilers here, guys. We do run into some NPCs along the way. If you're not interested in seeing the spoilers, you might just want to maybe take a break now and not do it. Not really sure. That's pretty much up to you guys, but maybe just don't pay attention to the screen so you can just see the way that the questline goes. So the first time I did this, when I dropped down over there to charge in and kill, I almost died because I was not prepared for there to be two things that I needed to fight there. So, because you do have to kill him in order to be able to complete this specific portion of it. Now, of course, with Destruction, we do get the Scepter of Sargeras, which pretty legit. I did not appreciate being CC'd there. That was really awful because it was right in the middle of my burst. Pretty easy, though, still with your blueberry. Just keeping a conscious effort to make sure that he's healed is definitely needed here. So this stuff's relatively easy. I did do this at level 100 versus level 110 to be able to gauge how difficult it's going to be when you first drop in. Obviously, the gear that you've acquired in your raiding is probably going to make it a lot easier on you. The higher gear you have, similar to when we went in Warlords of Draenor, although it didn't matter in the end. It really didn't matter. This tune is also not copied, so this is not the original Belle, as you can see, as it is called Belle's Destro, and it is a gnome. So I didn't have any of my starting gear from raiding in Warlords of Draenor and getting the final tier gear. So now we go see this guy. So he's pretty much Calidus. He's going to be your guy for the artifact acquisition as well as the order hall acquisition. You're just going to be running around doing things with him. As you guys also see there, we did just acquire the Book of Medivh, and we take this beautiful, really legit portal. I actually recorded this video probably 3 or 4 times because I kept breaking the quest. The problem with questing in alpha is stuff is broken, and when you abandon a quest and you reacquire it, sometimes you can't reacquire the boss that you've killed. I kind of did some things in the wrong order. So here, obviously you see we're in Tolbarad, which is nice to revisit that. And I hate having to kill imps. It really makes me sad as a warlock because, you know, that's kind of our thing. But we have to kill our own. The Shivera is definitely something I'm missing from being able to call my Shivera, as it was, I did use it a lot in arenas. More so in Warlords, or not Warlords of Draenor, more so in Mists of Pandaria. See that awful Chaos Bolt right there? That the stuck animation, I feel like that's not normal. The Chaos Bolt should just shoot out and not kind of hang and stare at you. It kind of creeps me out. I don't really know if it's going to like turn on its master and start attacking me. You guys are also going to probably notice that I do utilize some Rain of Fire here. They did give the Rain of Fire some nice damage boost. The offset to the damage boost is casting your Rain of Fire actually costs you a soul shard. As it did previously, I want to say in Kata, maybe pre-Kata. Memory's a little bit fuzzy on the Warlock timeline as I've been a Warlock since birth. So the idea here is we're going to go in here, and obviously we're looking for the Eye of Dalaran, which I can't pronounce the boss's name that we're going to go in here and kill. We have to go down here and we have to get an NPC who's actually going to help us. Now, when I broke the quest the first time, this NPC specifically, I lost him. I went off and did things without him and the whole quest line was broke. So I actually had to recreate the character because abandoning the quest did not kind of help me in that endeavor. So once we kill these things, then you're going to see we're actually going to go down into this little underground hidden. I really, really am digging the animations that they had here. Really, really loving it. Like the model updates too. Definitely better than before. I took a long time to kill. Like I said, it is a little bit different. And I did not have the gear that you normally start with. They kind of start you with some garbage gear. As you see, my health's not even 200k. So, yeah, they start you with really crap gear on a level 100 tune, which is, that kind of sucks. So pretty much all these class halls videos that I've done for every single class was a real struggle for me on the level 100 tunes because I was already under geared going into this situation. So this gentleman, we're going to be going with this guy. We're going to follow him under here through, I think we have to go through D block. And we're actually looking, we're looking for specific things, specifically that Eye of Dalaran is what we're looking for. We're going to go through here with him. One of the annoying things about having to deal with NPCs is how slow they are. They're literally so slow. Not too many mobs down here as far as overloading, so there's no, you're not really going to be overrun. Really, really easy to solo, just slow if your gear's kind of the crap gear and you're trying to relearn how to play a class. Even though, as you see, the rotation for destruction is pretty much the same, except you're going to use your Havoc a lot more than you did, even though most Destruction Warlocks use their Havoc on several. In any multi-target fight, you always use Havoc, but this time it's a little bit more because you can actually talent in to not having a recharge on the Havoc. And it stays up an extra, I think it's 30 seconds. So that Havoc is really crucial for getting your double Chaos Bolts, which your Chaos Bolts cost 2 shards, so you are, you don't get, you know, you're not getting 1 Chaos Bolt per Ember Tap, so your burst is going to heavily rely on a couple different elements, which we'll talk about that in a Destro video that I'm actually going to link after this as well, as far as the different types of utility and playstyle Destro has. I'm just trying to fill the talk, guys, so you're not just like watching me on a screen. I know I talk a lot, but I figured it was super important for me to keep kind of the conversation going a little bit. So once we go down here, I want you guys to pay attention to a few things because some things happened that were quite shocking, and literally I was like, what the f just happened? So you guys want to make sure that you pay attention to kind of the scenario as it plays itself out. If you don't want spoilers or you don't want to ruin this quest line as far as any kind of surprises that are going to come at you, then you might want to stop the video here and then maybe turn it on and maybe skip it 5 minutes ahead if you're not interested in seeing that. Not huge spoilers, but just surprise in the quest line that maybe you want to see it firsthand in the beginning of the expansion. Learning how to up my soul shards was definitely, I started to get the hang of it about the 12th time in Destro after doing the artifact acquisition so many times because I kept deleting the character. I thought this was pretty cool. I was kind of standing here the first time I did it and was like, what am I supposed to do here? And then it was kind of a late delay, and then you realize you're supposed to help him. I thought that was kind of neat. Blueberry's looking very badass here, guys. Like, he totally is like, I've got your back. He's the kind of guy, like your Blueberry, he's the kind of guy you take into a bar fight. So then here's the original NPC that was helping you. I wanted to see what was in there, apparently. So you're gonna follow this guy. They walk so slow. Model updates for these guys are really legit. I should turn the outline mode off. The outline mode, I don't really dig. I don't really dig the outline mode. I love how the NPCs don't really help you. They kind of make you feel like you have support, but they don't really do a whole lot of damage, so you're just like, thanks for being here, I think. I didn't really need any of those. I just felt like picking them up, I suppose. So now we're going to follow him down this really dark and dreary, creepy hallway. Here, little girl, come in this really creepy room with me where I'm going to lock you in and try to kill you. So this was super surprising. When this happened to me the first time, I was like, did that just happen? Like, this guy was totally helping me, and then he lured me in and tried to kill me. So that's basically what happened. And of course, Blueberry's always got your back. A little bit of a long fight. Once again, the gear, still pretty high damage for the low amount of gear I'm doing, so I was pretty happy, especially seeing my Chaos Bolt crits. But as you see, it does take a lot of work to get your soul shards up. There's a couple items that you can use to help. There's a 2-minute cooldown spell that you can use that will give you instant full refill of your soul shards. So you can use that, which you just seen me use it. And those are going to be, that could be used in line with your burst, especially on a boss fight, which once again, I'm getting ahead of myself, and we'll talk about that in the destruction video as far as gameplay goes. Finally, he's dead. So now we're going to complete this little section and continue looking, run back into our original helper. Which is kind of weird. I think I just barely noticed this in watching this playback and actually recording the voiceover for this. I didn't realize that he even asked about the gentleman that I just killed. To be fair, this guy attacked me first, so I kind of... Sorry, not sorry. Those crits are really, really, really nice. Still on the Chaos Bolt, which that's never going to change. If they change that, I think we would riot. Like how the NPC just keeps walking. Takes a little bit of a delay before he realizes what's actually going on. Oh, perhaps I should stop and help her. It was really a relief to play on a class that I know for these videos. I struggled pretty much on every class, just because I don't play them very often, and playing with Undergear tunes was a little bit stressful. This guy's pretty much over here doing absolutely nothing. Hitting him with relatively small amounts of damage. That's okay though, we got big long dick Chaos Bolts. That's really all that's needed as a Warlock. Then we're going to go over here. The prison manifest is something that we're looking for. So once we kill this very grumpy gentleman, we can then take the prison manifest and head on out of here to continue off on the next venture, which is where we are actually going to acquire the Eye of Dalaran. Dalaran. The Chaos Bolt's so weird, that little hanging animation thing. I do appreciate the incinerate and conflagrate animations. I thought they did a really good job. See that old nostalgia? The health funnels having to be responsible for keeping your blueberry alive. Proper use of the drain life and life tap for your mana is also something that I missed a lot. Being able to drain life so that you can get a little bit of health that you take away using your life tap so that you can keep your mana up so you can keep casting. I did miss that type of game style play that kind of got removed when I feel like they dumbed down Destro a little bit. Could just be my personal opinion. Don't anybody kill me. So here we have to go to the hold, which we seen the hold right before we went down in here. We're going to follow him, and that's where we have to fight. I don't remember his name, but a really big, ugly guy with a bad breath. Which was very nostalgic because we don't really go into Tolbarad very often. It's kind of one of those forgotten PvP places that used to be on the glory days. Oftentimes, I think me and some guildies like to kind of go hang around in there and see who actually does that in Winter Grasp. Not so much anymore. The good old days, right, guys? I love how she's not even phased at how short she is just running in the water. I haven't used my blueberry in a really long time for solo stuff just because you're so overgeared in Warlord to Draenor, it's ridiculous. But I'm not gonna lie, I got lost in here the first time and did this wrong because I forgot to bring this guy with me. I kind of left without him, which is just because he went really, really slow. And this guy literally, I was getting irritated because when I did this the first time, he was aggroing stuff. And then wasn't really keen on helping me. He just kind of took off. So we're actually coming near, this is going to be the last little section as far as this artifact acquisition. Most of these artifact acquisitions were not terrible to do. So it was nice, it was fun. These guys, literally. Yeah, he literally just runs right up to them and totally aggroes after they completely ignored him. That was kind of annoying. I'm sure that's intended just to make sure that you don't kind of pass mechanics when you're doing stuff like that. So I'm sure that that's its intended purpose. If you guys seen that dual Chaos Bolt action, see how long that Havoc, because it doesn't have a recharge. You have infinite charges. It could just go as long as you have Chaos Bolt. So properly placed burst can get you some pretty high dual Chaos Bolt damage on a multi-target boss fight as well. I'm assuming also in PvP when it comes to RBGs, when you're trying to kill a healer and one of your main damage dealers that are taking out your heals on that side. I could have totally used my Rain of Fire here. I don't really know why I didn't. I guess it was just lazy. Getting used to understanding that the Rain of Fire takes a soul shard was also probably a reason I abstained a little bit from using my Rain of Fire, because it takes, as you saw, it took 3 soul shards. But it does a lot of damage now, so it's, you know, you got that increased damage at the cost of actually having to make it work. So yeah, here's Big Daddy with the one eye. The one Dalaran eye. I like how he says, I'm not here to protect you. Okay, guy. Thanks anyway. The only part I remember of doing this, not necessarily in content, but coming back in here with friends, I do remember not to stand in front of him because of the bad breath mechanic, so at least I got that right when fighting this guy. He was relatively easy. As long as you stayed away from his stinky breath, all was good. Keep your blueberry healed, which, as you see with the Soul Leech did receive a little bit of a buff, so it did absorb quite a bit of damage for both you and your blueberry. That was actually quite nice. Great crits with shitty gear. 50k damage on a Chaos Bolt with really crap gear. I was pretty happy with that. I'll be excited when I can actually copy Belle from... I can't copy any of my account data. It's not working in alpha, so I couldn't actually use Belle herself. I had to create a character. It'll be really nice to see how this feels with actual gear. I'm not really sure what the item level of this gear is. I guess I could look. Is this guy dead yet? Finally. So then this gentleman's actually going to take the eye. This guy was kind of mean to me. If I had feelings, my feelings would be hurt. I mean, he was kind of rude. Basically, I helped this guy and did all the hard work where he just stood there and stared at me, and he was kind of a dick. So then off back to the portal we go. So this animation, if you guys can see, the animation's broken for this specific mount right now. The animation's basically shaking all over the screen. Practically gave me a seizure when I was recording this video. Look at the beautiful Tomb of Sargeras. This is where we get to go. And you guys are going to see a funny... I got so enraptured by Gul'dan that I was following Gul'dan instead of paying attention to the quest and doing what I was supposed to be doing. I was so excited to see that we got to go here, obviously because that's our artifact weapon. Every time I flew over here, I just wanted to drop down. So beautiful. They did such a great job. The bats animations are making me crazy. Sorry about that, guys. It's not my fault. It's just Legion. Fell bat drops ya. I could have mounted up here, but I wanted to just go a little bit slow just so you guys could kind of check it out and see what it looks like to walk up here. I was not sure if these guys were friendly, so I did click on them because I was scared that they might not be friendly. Oh, here's our buddy, guys. Mr. Grumpy Gul'dan himself. So the funny thing is, I leave to follow Gul'dan because he's crotchety and he's hopping along. And I want to go where this guy's going. He looks like he's going to someplace fun. Maybe a bar, not really sure. So I totally start following this guy up here. Not sure if I was supposed to or not. Did it anyway. And then he takes off. And I realize shortly hereafter that this has been a coup, and I did all this work for this jerk behind me. Yeah, see, I was riding the lightning all the way. That was too funny when I realized it. So I was actually supposed to kill this guy who, literally, I helped him. He was a jerk to me the entire time, and then the asshole tries to kill me. That's pretty much the way that went down. These Infernals were so much fun to fight. Literally so much fun to fight. Obviously, with it being a Legion expansion, you're going to be dealing with these Infernals a lot along the way because they're pretty much all over. But this was really, really fun to do. The second time around, I did ignore the Infernal when it popped out, and it was to my detriment because a second Infernal popped, and I ended up having two. So I was having to really, really DPS this guy down quickly in order to be able to get those Infernals to disappear. That was my fault. I thought I could just ignore it. I didn't realize it was going to pop multiple Infernals. That's just bad mechanics, Belle. You know not to stand and stuff. See? I totally ignored the Infernal and then the second one popped. So stupid. That was my own fault. I should have killed him. And I stood in stuff again. Took him out easily. I got a little bit of revenge for him kind of being a dick. Got to kill him, so it was nice. So Gul'dan tries to pretend like he's your friend, and there you go, to be able to pick up the scepter. This was a beautiful moment for me because I did really, really, really want this scepter. Nice little animations. Pretty happy about that. So that was pretty easy as far as doing that specific quest line. Not too terrible. I actually did quite enjoy it. And then of course you're gonna go on to your next step. I just kind of stood there not realizing I should probably get the hell out of there. But yeah, that's pretty much the entire video. When I go back through here, I'm actually going to complete the Order Hall acquisition, which will be in another video. Make sure you guys checked out the Warlock Class Hall video walkthrough that I did do. And also be on the lookout for the Destruction Warlock Legion walkthrough as far as spells that we have, different talents, and kind of what the gameplay is looking like so far. Really difficult to do these kind of videos as far as gameplay with Destruction because it is an alpha and there's going to be a lot of changes. So once again, I do want to thank you guys for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be doing all the specs of all the classes. So next up will be likely Demonology, and yes, I actually have to do Affliction. Don't judge me. It's for scientific research. So I do want to thank you guys for joining me. Make sure you guys give this video a like if you enjoyed it. If I talk too much, I do apologize. Wanted to keep you guys from being bored. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Make sure you guys like the video, comment, and give us a subscribe if it's the first time you are here seeing us. Thank you so much for following PWNCAST, and have a great day.